Hey guys, we are in for this press conference today to see about these wildfires. I'm going to start it off because it's just starting and we'll get right back to you guys.
Let's check it out. Hi, everybody.
Says additionally, FEMA approved a fire management assistant grant to reimburse California for firefighting costs last night. So we're going to take this live once it begins, though. In the meantime, here, our colleagues there still at Fox 11 in Los Angeles continue with their wall-to-wall coverage of these devastating fires. Let's keep watching.
The valley downtown, and residents using garden hoses with water pressure has significantly dropped, and that's a recipe for disaster. He says any power loss to pump or lift stations could reduce hydrant pressure to static levels, which
is there a press conference on right now? Should I switch to that, you guys?
And that, of course, is what we have been seeing. So that's a problem that needs to be addressed.
There was supposed to be a press conference. Let's see.
I don't think we've ever seen anything like this, right? Like today, what I can say on a positive note is that the winds are nowhere near as strong as they were yesterday. They were insane last night.
So ICADMEL's not playing it yet, so I'm assuming everybody covering this is going to be playing this as it comes out. They're probably dicking around to figure out what they want to say to us.
When you and Joab Perez were out there, so thank goodness for that.
Hi to everybody in the chat. I'm going to pull up my chat so I can chat with you guys.
Yeah, great. Hello, friends in chat. I guess I can mute the video or I can mute myself. What do you guys think?
Gina Silva will be checking in with you. We are waiting, as she mentioned, that press conference at the top.
Oh, here we go. We're waiting.
As it relates to the Eaton fire, when that happens, we will bring that to you live.
In the meantime, as we approach the top of
This
the
is
hour, we know
absolute
there are new people
insanity.
that come in.
Absolute
so we want to take a moment
insanity.
to reset and get everybody up to date on the very latest
It
that
is.
we know. We continue
I'm absolutely devastated. The first thought I had this morning when we saw this was I have a friend, a mentor from my old job that was from Altadena. The first thought I had this morning was the first person I was worried about. I just scored up.
It sounds like they are running out of water or they have no water. The first responders are getting like hung out to dry, and I'm so bad.
Like, and I don't even have water to.
Are stretching the capacity of emergency
how come they can't pull water out of the water?
They used it all.
Good afternoon.
No, I know, but aren't they like right on the ocean? Can they not use ocean water? Is that bad? I don't know things. Your dad would know. Eric, what'd your dad say?
Yeah. I don't think it's close enough. I don't think they got the lines like.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're right. That's
they're probably working on something like that with trucks and stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, hey, Cat K. Cat K's here finally. We are hitting
Hey,
a good
Cat
time
K,
for
how are you?
her. We got Happy in the chat.
Hey.
So that's really cool.
Continuously updated that with the latest.
Welcome, everybody.
Here is where we stand on this. Now, Wednesday afternoon, as Alex said, that deadly
I couldn't stop watching this last night. The hardest videos to watch are the people who are in the street videotaping around them, and you could hear trees snapping. They were like in really horrible situations. I heard one woman was like, well, I don't even know how we're going to get out of here. And so she was like videotaping a circle around her, and there was just fire every place. And I thought, oh my God. Could you imagine you don't have enough time? There's never enough time anyway, but you don't have enough time to get out?
Is this a normal time for California to have forest fires or fires in general? Because, like, I thought fires happen in the summertime. Maybe I'm just, like, used to it. But, I mean, I live in Vancouver, and we get the blowback, and they get our blowback, and it's almost always in the summer. I've never really like gathered that this happens in January. It seems like such a strange time for a fire to start. But I guess with the gusts of wind, that's what they're trying to say, right?
Yeah, well, it's really weird. Like to me, it's the structure of where it's at. This valley that it's in. There's like.
Santa Ana winds.
There's no roads. There's no roads out of there either. I don't know how the people get out. There's no roads.
I think Fox is playing the press conference. I'm seeing that there is a press conference at the
All right,
moment.
let's find it.
Yeah, live now from Fox. Maybe they're just a little tiny bit ahead or something like that. Oh, here we go. Our coverage is getting it. There they are.
So our coverage was getting it?
Well, look, he's up in the screen, up in the top
Oh,
screen.
okay,
That's
I
where
see it there.
that's what it looks like. Yeah. Okay, let's listen. See what they have to tell us. Yeah, it is strange, Cat, for sure.
Yeah. You know, it's odd then. My brother sent me pictures from where they're at in Alaska, and there's no snow. It rained the last couple of days, and it's in the 30s-ish.
Oh, he's
And
starting.
yeah, here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Victor.
Let's all mute.
Victor. Last name is Gordlo, Gordo, Mayor of the City of Pasadena. Let me first say on behalf of all residents of Pasadena that our thoughts and prayers are with those who have lost their home and even their lives here in Pasadena, as well as in Altadena and the Palisades. On behalf of all residents of Pasadena and the leaders that you see behind me, we will certainly have all those individuals and their families and friends in our thoughts and prayers. We have experienced a tremendous tragedy here in our community. To date, we have over 100,000 people under mandatory evacuation. We've had 5 fatalities, and then we have close to another 100,000 people who have been warned to evacuate because they are in a danger zone. Hundreds of homes have been lost. I'll let the police chief and the fire chief talk about that. But this is an opportunity for us as a community, as a people, to band together and work to support one another. Whether you're affected or not, please take the opportunity to help a neighbor, help a friend, check in on friends and neighbors, and certainly check in on family members. Here with me today are Councilmember Jason Lyon, Councilmember Justin Jones, Councilmember Jessica Rivas, my colleagues on the Pasadena City Council. Also with us today is City Manager Miguel Marquez, our Supervisor, LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger, Congress Member Judy Chu, State Senator Sasha Perez, Assemblymember John Harabedian, the Superintendent of the Pasadena Unified School District, Dr. Blanco, the President of Pasadena City College, Dr. Jose Perez, a representative from the Humane Society. Also with us today are neighboring Assembly members, Assemblymember Coloza, Assemblymember Nick Schultz. You'll also hear from Fire Chief Chad Augustine and Police Chief Gene Harris. So again, I just want to assure people that Pasadena is working in conjunction with our neighboring jurisdictions, including the County of Los Angeles, particularly the County of Los Angeles. Supervisor Barger and I had the opportunity to sit down with the Governor of California this afternoon, not too long ago, maybe an hour ago, and the Governor has assured us that he will provide whatever assistance that we may request. And so on behalf of Supervisor Barger and I'd like to thank the governor for coming, seeing for himself the devastation and committing the Guard and other resources to Pasadena. And so we will certainly be in touch. With that, let me, and I'll go over these points in Spanish at the end as well. Let me turn it over to City Manager Miguel Marquez.
Good afternoon. My name is Miguel Marquez. Excuse me, Miguel spelled Miguel, Marquez, Marquez. I am the city manager for the city of Pasadena. It's been a brutal 22 hours here in Pasadena. My heart aches for all who lost their homes, their memories, and their sense of security. About 22 hours ago, we first learned of a fire in Eaton Canyon. As they always do, and despite the dangers, our first responders rushed to the scene. They found darkness, they found fire, and they found 80-mile-per-hour winds. Air support was not possible under those conditions. Our first responders did all they could under those brutal conditions to put out the fire, putting their own lives at risk to save others. They battled through the night, with more and more joining the fight as the night wore on. Our police officers went door to door, ensuring as many residents as possible were evacuated to safety, including many seniors and those with mobility limitations. They saved many, many lives in the last 22 hours. Their efforts were heroic. Our first responders, our public works department who cleared the streets, Pasadena Water and Power who kept the power on and the water flowing throughout the night. Public servants from so many different agencies came together in the last 22 hours to keep as many people safe as possible. Together, many, many lives were saved. The battle continues, as does our resolve. We will put out the fire, and then it will be time to rebuild. In this community, we may get knocked down, but we always pick ourselves up. Many thanks to our first responders, our city staff, our city council, our county, state, and federal partners, our education partners, our nonprofit partners, our business partners, our partners in the media, and most of all, our residents. Thanks to all for once again stepping up and doing what needed to be done to keep people as safe as possible in the face of danger. We will not relent. We will heal. We will rebuild. These last 22 hours didn't bring us down. They made us Pasadena strong. Thank you.
Next, I'll invite LA County Supervisor and our Supervisor, Catherine Barger.
As I was standing here, one of our Altadena residents came up to me who's very active in the Rotary, and he lost his home. I'm hearing this time and time again. And as the mayor told you, we went up and took a tour, and it is surreal. It is without words that I can even explain to you what is taking place, especially in my district in Altadena, but also in the bordering area of Pasadena. My heart is heavy, but I have to say, and the mayor is absolutely correct, we met with the governor, who also met with the president, and resources, both financial, but also resources for boots on the ground, are here, and we're going to continue to fight this fight. But I would ask people, please, 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 if you don't need to be in the area, we don't need you in the area. Recognize that when we drove up there, these are fires that are actively taking place as we speak. And there were many people that don't live in the area that just wanted to go up and take a look. We have fire personnel that is fighting this blaze, not only in Altadena, but also in the Palisades area. We need you all to work with us. And to those people that want to go up and loot, the full weight of the county will come down on you. And that's going to start with the district attorney who's issuing a press release and is going to make sure the full set of the law is played out if you are caught looting in any area impacted by this fire. But I want to thank our first responders, who many of which have been on the line for over 24 hours. I think it's important for us to note that the chief of LA County Fire has asked for resources outside the state with the goal to let them go in and begin to fight the fires so that our firefighters can take a break and then start again. But again, I want to thank our first responders, but I also want to thank our state and federal partners, Congressmember Chu, Congressman Whitesides, who represents Santa Clarita area. It's very reassuring to know that we have an all hands on deck, both at the state and at the federal level. And we will rebuild. And to my friends out there that have lost their homes, we are here for you as we look forward to what we are going to do to help you rebuild your life. So with that, thank you.
Next, Congressmember Judy Chu.
Hello, I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and I just got off the plane from Washington, D.C. My heart goes out to those who've lost their homes and their businesses. I've had friends tell me that they've lost their homes, and I can't believe the destruction that this fire is causing. But I want to tell you that this morning I was on the phone with the White House and with FEMA, and President Biden has declared this a national disaster. So now the mechanics are set for people to get assistance for recovery from FEMA. And also, FEMA was asked last night by the state of California to declare this eligible for the fire management grants, and indeed it is. So all the expenses that we see for fighting this fire will be reimbursed by the federal government. And also, I've spoken to Supervisor Torres of the San Gabriel Mountains. He's asked for help from Washington, D.C. to close the forest area. So I do want to urge everybody, please stay away from the forest area. I just urge everybody to make sure that you obey the evacuation orders, and that also you take advantage of the shelters that are available at the Pasadena Civic Center as well as the Arcadia Community Center. Our office is going to be ready to assist you in the recovery from these fires. And we know that there will be assistance from the Small Business Administration, which has emergency loans, and there will be grants from FEMA. But right now, the most important thing is to be safe. So that's why I say to everybody, please stay out of these areas. Please make sure you obey the evacuation orders, and please stay safe.
Next, State Senator Sasha Renee Perez.
Good evening, everyone. I think this is a really difficult moment for many of us in the community, especially for those of us that have grown up in the San Gabriel Valley and who have come to know and love this community. As the supervisor said, we're receiving many calls from friends and community members letting us know that they've lost their homes, they've lost their businesses. This is a really devastating time. We just toured the site and there are still fires burning. And I want to emphasize to people, if you are told to evacuate, please evacuate. Please take these warnings seriously. I have family members that have evacuated. They have left their homes. I understand how difficult of a decision this is, but this is about safety and safety first. We want to make sure that you all are taken care of, that you're taking care of your families. This is what is most important right now. It is incredibly dangerous for individuals to be up there during the time when there's fires like this. This is a very, very dangerous time. So please evacuate, get somewhere safe, make sure that your family is safe. Also, if you receive an evacuation warning, please make sure if you have elderly neighbors, pick up the phone and let them know. We've seen a lot of senior citizens just here at the senior center that have been evacuated, and someone taking a moment to knock on the door and make sure that they were informed so that they're getting out of their home is so critical and makes such a difference. We know right now that there's a lot of folks that are struggling to have cell service when they're up in the foothills right now. We know power lines are down. And these fires are continuing to rage on. So, the state's doing everything that it can right now to make sure that we're allocating resources. We're moving firefighters from Northern California, from Central California to come here to fight this fire. There's firefighters coming from out of state. And so resources are coming. We're going to get this thing contained, but it is going to take time. And so make sure that you're staying away, letting our public safety officers do what they need to do so that we can get this contained. Thank you.
Next, Assemblymember John Harabedian.
Thank you, Mayor Gordo. For anyone who is a believer of any faith, please, we need your prayers. We need your thoughts of healing, and anything that you can do to help our community. Many of our neighbors, our loved ones, and members throughout our community lost their lives today. And we are with you. We see you, we feel you, and we are going to help you get through this. As part of the state of California, along with our governor, our federal and local officials, our main mission now is to keep people safe, minimize any further devastation. And for those of you who lost your homes, who lost your property, who lost your loved ones, we are going to help you rebuild. We're going to do everything we can to fight for you every day, now, this week, over the next couple months and years, to make sure you get your life back. And that is my promise. That is the promise of everyone behind us. But please stay diligent. Heed the warnings of our public safety officers, and please stay out of harm's way. Thank you to our men and women on the front lines, our first responders. We are not out of this. It is all hands on deck, and it's going to be a long couple nights still. So thank you to everyone who's helping these efforts, and please pray for us.
Next, Superintendent of the Pasadena Unified School District, Dr. Blanco.
Good evening, and I want to echo the sentiments that our heart goes out to all of our families, our staff, our employees who have suffered losses during this devastating event. Behind me, you see the power of us, the city, the mayor, the city manager, our leader from the PCC, all came around the school district to help us provide for our families and our students. I saw many of my families here today who have lost their homes along with their staff. Thank you for being here with them, and thank you for supporting them. Our schools are going to remain closed for the rest of the week. We are continuing to assess the damages at our school. Our maintenance and operation team, along with our police department, the sheriffs, and our fire department have been assessing our buildings. Our preliminary assessment results show that the fire has substantially damaged 5 campuses. While most of them are in good condition, we have confirmed these 5 campuses in Altadena. Elliott's Arts Magnet School is damaged. Franklin Elementary, which was closed in 2020, has damage of about 80%. 3 campuses that house other schools have sustained damages: Edison, Loma Alta, and Noyes. Please note this information is preliminary. The fire is not contained, and some of our schools still remain in the path of the fire. We're working together with our city partners to do everything we can to preserve our schools. Our next steps are recovery. We're planning for recovery as we respond to the emergency, as we know our families are dependent on us. Public education is the bedrock of democracy. We learned that in COVID, and we will be here to help our families and our staff get through what is happening in our city. Thank you. We're deeply grateful for everything that you all have done to help and support us.
Next, President of Pasadena City College, Dr. Jose Gomez.
Hi, I'm Jose A. Gomez, Jose A. Gomez, Gomez. Over the last 24 hours, our hearts have been broken by what has transpired. We have lost our peace. Although Pasadena City College has sustained minor damage, our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts are with our greater community. We are so grateful at Pasadena City College for the incredible leadership that the city of Pasadena and all of our legislators and all of our elected officials have provided, not just to our college, but also to our community. The campus will be closed and we will not be having classes until next Monday. We will resume regular schedule and classes on Monday, if possible. Of course, it's a very fluid situation. But more importantly than that, we have activated much of our campus community in support of our partners and our greater Pasadena San Gabriel Valley family. Our emergency management response team has been deployed here to the convention center to help the city. We have our nursing staff who will be arriving soon to help our City Department of Public Health. And in partnership with our superintendent of Pasadena Unified School District, Dr. Elizabeth Blanco, we are also serving meals to our PUSD families at Pasadena City College. We are here to help in any way possible. And we, of course, appreciate all of your support and all of your help. Pasadena and the San Gabriel Valley has been an amazing partner to PCC, and we are here to be an important and critical partner to the communities that we serve. Thank you.
Next, from the Humane Society, Dia DeVernit.
I'm Dia DeVernit, President and CEO of Pasadena Humane. We're a nonprofit animal welfare organization and shelter serving Pasadena and 10 surrounding areas, including Altadena, which has been very hard hit by this fire. And our hearts really go out to all the people who have lost their homes and their pets in this disaster. We recently just heard from one of our board members who lost her home with her 2 cats in it. I'm sure we're going to be hearing more stories like this in the coming hours and days, but our primary focus has been over the past 24 hours to assist people who have been safely evacuating with their pets and need a place for their pets to go. So we've taken in over 250 pets in the past 24 hours. And we have been working today to coordinate with shelters throughout the state to help take the animals that are already in our shelter to make room for more animals who are coming in. I want to really thank everyone who has offered assistance, including the shelters around the state and people who we see in our community who are rescuing neighbors' pets and bringing them to us. It really has been heartwarming to see even our staff members who have been evacuated and are losing their homes coming to the shelter to shelter with their pets and take care of other people's pets. It's going to take a real community effort to recover from this. We've had lots of inquiries from people wanting to help. We're taking names of those who would be interested in fostering animals as we get more animals in. Right now, our primary need is monetary donations so that we can provide emergency services to pets that have been impacted by the fires. We are also providing food and other pet supplies if anyone is in need. And we really encourage you, if you are evacuating, please make sure your pet has identification. Take pet supplies with you. And if possible, please try to stay with family or friends who can accommodate you and your pet, as the shelters are really becoming quite stressed in this situation. I want to give a few concrete resources because they have been rapidly evolving. For those in the foothill areas who have horses in need of shelter, right now the Fairplex in Pomona is taking them, the Industry Hills Equestrian Center, and soon LA County will be opening the Antelope Valley Fairgrounds. We've heard that the LA Equestrian Center, where horses have been kept, is currently being evacuated. We have recently started to see the first injured animals coming in. We've had a cat and some wildlife coming in. If you do find injured wildlife, we'd like you to call our wildlife helpline at 626-344-1129. We're very thankful to our skilled veterinarians who are providing care to these animals. and will continue to provide care around the clock to animals in need in our community. Thank you.
Next, because this is still an active fire with very little, if any, containment, I think it's important to hear from the fire chief. And our fire chief is here with us, Chief Chad Augustine.
Good afternoon. My name is Chad Augustine, your Pasadena Fire Chief, ChadAugustin. I'd like to give you a current sit stat on our Eaton fire. We can confirm that the Eaton fire is now over 10,600 acres at 0% containment. I'd be remiss, though, if I didn't highlight some of the heroic actions last night by your public safety, police, and fire, who literally saved lives, pulling people out from burning buildings, getting them out of streets and vehicles where they had no ways to evacuate. Our death count today would be significantly higher without their heroic actions. We currently have 60 strike teams requested and 750 firefighters working on this incident. We're in a unified command with multiple agencies to include law, LA County Fire, LA County Sheriff, and Angeles National Forest, along with Pasadena Fire. We have strike teams committed from all over the state and as far as Arizona coming to assist us. Multiple structures have been damaged or destroyed as this wind-driven fire had wind gusts of 70+ miles per hour. We had spotting of embers 2 to 3 miles ahead of the fire. I can confirm tonight that we have somewhere between 200 and 500 structures damaged or lost. We really need, as it becomes safe to do so, and we get a better handle on this fire, we need to come in and be able to survey the damage to get an exact total of number of structures that have been damaged or completely lost. We continue to be in red flag conditions, and we expect that to be through Thursday with variable and high wind speeds, thankfully not as strong as what we saw last night. We are encouraging people to stay updated as the weather can continue to change very rapidly. Please, if we issue an evacuation order, heed our request. Be prepared, have your go bag, and immediately evacuate. Thankfully, the current forecasts allow us today to start getting aircraft in to fight this fire. Since around 10 a.m., we've had aircraft doing water drops. With the goal of limiting the fire spread, we will come behind those water drops with hand crews and fire engines to get a containment line around this fire. We expect, with favorable conditions over the next couple days, to start making good progress on this fire. And with that, I'll turn it over to the police chief.
Chief, we take a question on the statistics and the current situation with you have your firefighters. How are they holding up over the past 22 hours?
Yeah, they're exhausted. We need those reinforcements coming in, but they've done incredible work. Where they've, an example is crews that fought 15 house fires over a 28-hour period. They didn't save any of them, but they prevented 2 or 3 blocks away from burning down. So great work, not just from your Pasadena fire, but throughout this entire region.
You requested 60 strike teams. What's the status of that, and how long before they're over?
Great question. So we have multiple strike teams that arrived. We're in the early 15-ish strike teams, and we expect over the next 24 hours we'll be close to 50. Even some of the Arizona strike teams should be here by this evening.
Can you talk about resources being stretched? I know that this morning out at some of the fires there were maybe 1 or 2 firefighters on scene only because it appeared not to have the resources that we could expect to implement. Can you talk about that situation?
Yeah, sure. I would be kidding all of you if I said we didn't have resources stretched yesterday, right? It's a rarity that you have 2 major brush fires in LA County, like we did yesterday with the Eaton fire and the Palisades, let alone the multiple other fires that we saw. So we had an extreme drawdown from with LA County Fire, and they are our biggest partner. Even with their drawdown, they sent us a lot of resources last night, which was really helpful. It's unfortunate with the wind gusts that we had, up to 70-mile-an-hour winds. They had to ground their aircraft last night. But we really relied on all of LA County to bring us resources, and then with the mutual aid requests from up and down the state. Did that answer your question? Thank you.
One more. I wanted to ask about, we were inside the fire zone and multiple residents had talked about a lack of water pressure or a lack of water at all in trying to fight fires. There's a similar situation in the Palisades when they said it was due to the amount of water usage at one time. Is this what you were seeing? What was the situation there? We saw it firsthand as well. Why was this the case? And is this going to be a problem for the future?
Yeah, when you have multiple fires, multiple city blocks on fire, with I'll throw a number out, 100 fire engines flowing water, we are gonna stretch our water system. On top of that, we had a loss of power temporarily, which impacted our water system. But I'll be clear, we could have had much more water with those wind gusts. We were not stopping that fire last night. Those erratic wind gusts were throwing embers for multiple miles ahead of the fire. And that's really what caused the rapid spread of this fire.
Sir, where specific the fire starts? The most specific, because it's a picture taken approximately 6:30 last night, like a transforming fire and around Canyon.
That's correct. The time that is correct. And around 6:30 was when the fire came in the Altadena area. It was actually in LA County, but right on the border. We had both Pasadena and LA County resources arriving almost simultaneously. And then, of course, the fire quickly moved into the Pasadena city limits.
So 10,600 acres on fire, 0% containment, hundreds of homes destroyed. What can you say?
Yeah. Yeah, what gives me hope is when I look at the trees and bushes around here. Last night was incredible, right? It was like something that most of you have probably never seen. Tonight we have very mild wind conditions where we can get aircraft and a ton of additional resources getting their hands around this fire. That's what gives me confidence that we're going to get a handle on this fire.
Before, why don't we bring the police chief up, and then then you can ask questions of both chiefs.
Can we talk about the cause of the fire, and if there are other, we know that there are several fires burning, are any of these connected to like fake arson?
The cause, you're going to love my generic answer, but the cause is under investigation, right? We have multiple fire investigators as well as fire and arson investigators from LA County and local resources investigating that. And we need to let them do their good work so that we can come up with an accurate cause and origin.
We'll ask the chief to stay here for more questions, but in the meantime, because this also involves a public safety situation and neighborhoods that have been evacuated and homes, the message I want to reiterate is don't even think about it. Don't think about coming to loot any of these properties in Pasadena or Altadena, because the Pasadena Police Department, as well as the LA County Sheriff and resources from the state of California, will be out there patrolling and protecting these neighborhoods. With that, I'll turn it over to our police chief, Eugene Harris, to provide you more facts and details.
My name is Gene Harris. I am the police chief for the city of Pasadena. Gene is Gene. Last name is Harris, Harris. Last night at the beginning of this incident, first responders from the city of Pasadena responded to the area of this event, primarily on a safety mission. But when they got there, they rapidly found an escalating fire that was growing rapidly with the wind gusts, and it turned into a rescue evacuation scenario. Those first responders acted heroically by going in and either evacuating or rescuing numerous folks that are now housed in this building behind me. It was nothing short of heroic. And as they got there, it rapidly turned into that type of mission. So we had people from our police department, our fire department, certainly reached out into our Area C partners, local, state, and county folks that came to assist. And it took all night to get folks rescued or evacuated from their homes. And that effort was robust in that end. We also reached out beyond our county into other counties. We had some other agencies roll assets to us that could help us solve this problem. And they are still on scene at our command post as we speak. As you heard said, this is an active scenario from a law enforcement perspective. You've heard all of the fire circumstances and issues. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we in law enforcement are doing in this incident. As I said, it started out as a evacuation and rescue mission. It is now going to transition for law enforcement into a protection and community safety mission. And we will be staunch in protecting the community and protecting the homes of those folks who've had to be evacuated. We will have numerous folks in and around the area. Upwards of 150 officers at any one time in and around the city, handling all of our regular patrol efforts, but certainly focusing on making sure that the homes and the property around the burn area is secure. We will be staunch in that effort. If you have, and this is a message to the community, if you have a righteous reason to be there, declare that reason to law enforcement personnel and we'll assist you. If you don't have a righteous or legal reason to be there, expect to be challenged and we will deal with you accordingly. The idea here is we want to make sure that we protect the people in this community, we protect the sanctity of these people's homes, and we will do that without fail. As you heard the mayor say, don't come here if that is the mission, if that's what you plan to do. You will run into somebody in one of these uniforms, and we will take care of that situation. So ensure that we are going to be staunch and very stern about the way that we're conducting this protection mission. I want to end it by simply saying the first responders in this city are second to none. Those partners that responded to help us really stood up, and you've got some really good elements that came out here to support this community and make it safe. So we will have ongoing and sustained operations. There will not be any lessening of operational capability for emergency services. We might find that some of the regular services will be out. We've put some information out on that for social media and on the media to make sure that people understand that we may not have the counters open and some of those things for regular services, but all emergency services will be dealt with without any lessening of services or impact. So with that, I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Now we can open it up to questions from any of our speakers that you may have. I can do Spanish now, or we can do one-on-one.
Mayor, we asked the chief about before you go, the looting situation. Was those instances of looting, did that happen here at the Eaton Canyon fire? I mean, what was the situation here that makes you speak so forcefully about any activities that might happen with the fire zone?
Well, the forceful nature of my delivery is really designed to impact what our caring is for this community. It's a community caring mission. We haven't had any incidents of looting, and we don't want any. And so the message is, don't come here if that's what you plan to do. You're going to run into one of us, and we're going to be staunch in that effort. So we haven't had anything yet, but we're trying to expect the unexpected and get in front of these types of things.
Any other questions for Chief Augustine?
Chief, there were a number of significant spot fires that broke out not only in the hills but along Lake Avenue. Several buildings caught fire at once. Do you anticipate any of that tomorrow?
I do not. Right? We're still in a very active incident, right? And we have a dynamic fire that has 0% containment. But what caused a lot of last night's issues was the dynamic winds, wind gusts to 70 miles an hour, and very erratic winds. At 2 a.m, they changed direction heading westward, and we ended up having evacuations all the way to Glendale. So do I expect a risk of fire spread tomorrow? Yes. Do I expect erratic fire weather like we saw last night? No. We can confidently say those embers were spreading ember casts 2+ miles, right? And we were in red flag conditions, right? And just acknowledging that we're in red flag conditions in January, right, should make us all pause. And so the humidity was so low last night that a single spark could cause a fire. And then you add in the wind gusts. And when I was driving to the fire last night, there was fires, dozens of fires starting just from the embers that were being thrown blocks, and miles ahead of the fire.
Chief, the owner of the Bunny Museum told us on our air on CBS that the fire hydrant in front of his museum was dry and that firefighters couldn't get any water out of it. Are you sure that all the hydrants are working? Was that a water pressure problem? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can't comment on that specific instance because I don't know the facts of that, but I can tell you that it's very common in a brush fire in a city when you have that big of a fire with that many resources that we're going to tax our water supply and our water system. Then if you have a loss of power, which may impact the pressure, it's going to make it even worse. So yes, all of that. We're going to struggle on water supply on a very, very large brush fire like we saw last night with multiple structures on fire.
Do you feel that you got enough help, enough mutual aid quick enough? Did it arrive fast enough?
Yeah.
Did it help?
Sure. What was great, if there was a positive thing from yesterday, is we were preparing for a wind event for multiple days in advance of what happened last night. We were preparing for a wind event as well as possible brush fire, but you had augmented staffing all over the county, and which really benefited us because we were able to be nimble, send resources to Palisades Fire early in the day, and they were sending us resources by the evening time. That's the benefit of the mutual aid system in California, specifically LA County.
As you're speaking right now on our air, we're showing live pictures of houses burned to the ground.
Yes.
These are images that you and everyone standing behind has seen all day long. What do you say to the viewers watching this happen?
We grieve for them, right? We're incredibly sorry that they have a loss of, for many of them, everything they own, right? And it's tough as your fire chief. That's my responsibility. I also know that last night was unprecedented conditions where we did a lot of good work, but we were not able to save every residence or building that was out there.
Mayor Gordo, on that same note, how surreal is it? Because you've been inside this convention center many times before for many of the different events, but to see it being utilized in this way, more than 1,000 people are now using this. Looking forward, what are some of the biggest needs that you think in the days to come that you'll need here for the folks who have evacuated?
Well, first and foremost, it's very sad to see families dislodged, particularly families that have lost their home and, as the chief says, have lost everything. I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be to transition people who have lost their home into permanent housing. We have hundreds of homes that have been destroyed, and moving people into permanent long-term housing is definitely going to be a challenge. And it's going to be a challenge that we're going to engage the county, the state, and the federal government in.
Has there been any contact information, a website, or phone number set up for missing persons? So if a family member or someone in the area was evacuated, the family's out of state or out of county, how do you track down your loved ones?
Well, the standard 911 will be efficient enough to get us to the numbers that we need to get you. I would suggest that you make that call. To me, that stands to be an emergency, so let's do that. You can also contact our business line, and we can get you to the right people that can guide you in. If you think that your folks are at our evacuation center, which is right here behind us, we have plenty of staff that are here that can help you ID any family members or friends that might be here.
Okay. What's the business line?
I don't know that off the top of my head, unfortunately, but we can get that on our website.
Okay, again, to all affected residents, know that your city, your county, and other resources are there to help. If you need assistance, please reach out to us. Pasadena and its residents and Altadena, it's a resilient community, and I'm sure that we'll bounce back. In the interim, this is a This is an evolving situation, and so we're asking people to listen in carefully to what the police chief, the fire chief are saying. If you're asked to evacuate, evacuate. If you're thinking about coming to Pasadena or Altadena, for that matter, to cause problems, think twice, because the Pasadena Police Department and the LA County Sheriffs will be there to greet you, and you will be arrested if you're engaging in conduct that you should not be engaging in. And with that, that will complete our, unless there are other questions. Thank you.
Chief.
All right, Andrew Kraft back here. You've been listening there to officials in Pasadena, California. The fire chief there getting the most questions, saying around 200 to 500 structures have been damaged or lost. The mayor there saying at least 100,000.
Hello? We back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, everybody just needs to unmute. I can't hear Sophie, but I'm sure she's muted.
I was talking to myself.
Oh.
I was like, yes, I can hear you.
Perfect.
I was thinking that's wild. I'm like just absolutely blown away. Like I'm still blown away. Where do 80,000 people go? Where do y'all go? Where did everybody go? How did they get out of that town on like a 2-lane road? We can't get out through the mountains, or not a 2-lane. Probably not a 2-lane road. How did they get out of that town on a highway? Well, every 80,000 people. That's insanity. I didn't see any aerial views of the highway itself. I'd like to see how many cars are just parked there. People like hitching a ride with another person just to get everybody out of there.
Well, you got to hope that, first of all, that people get out, but then you're right. Where do people go? I mean, these aren't uncomplicated people. There are people there with horses, dogs, kids. Like, this isn't going to be a small effort. There's going to need to be like a plan in place. And there's 100+ homes completely gone, right?
Oh, it said there's like 1,000+ buildings, right? So
1,000 structures.
Yeah. And those are people's businesses. Those are people's
apartment
homes.
buildings.
Yeah. And I mean, I was talking to my neighbor and he was saying to me, like, he thinks that this is a big population issue. Like the California is just very overpopulated, like in general too. I mean, like it's so overpopulated, and not to say that, the fires are to do with that, but I mean, now it's really glaring because to displace all those people is insane.
Yeah.
It was sudden too. It was like started like 6:30 yesterday, just out of nowhere. And the wind spread it so quick.
Right.
It's crazy that it's just that dry there when the Pacific Northwest and every place else has just been getting doused with rain.
Well, that's the question at hand.
So what's the biggest thing you guys got from the press conference?
Oh man. Go ahead.
Nothing could be done till the wind stops.
Yeah. And he sounded like the wind at the end there that
it's dying down. Yeah.
But yeah. He said they are having a better chance because this morning, I keep thinking last night, but I've been watching this all day. Right. So this morning they were talking about, they couldn't bring helicopters in, and I was watching the trees and I was like, oh my, yeah, of course you can't, but it'd be the only way they could have stopped any of that would be douse everything. Right. So it was absolutely, it's just been, like Eric said, it's just been a storm. It just was a perfect storm.
And the wind don't stop in that area. It's
right.
Like,
it's LA's most destructive blaze ever, apparently.
I wonder if value, like monetarily wise, because there was, oh no, I'm thinking mudslides. I was gonna say those were all destruction in the mountains, but there's been fires in the mountains. Didn't they lose like the Getty Museum last year?
They did, yeah.
Which was absolutely devastating. But I mean, not like this. This is different. This is humans and lives, not just items.
Right. What are people in chat saying? Let's see. What are your guys' biggest takeaways here? We've got Happy Face.
Yeah.
Welcome.
My question is,
Miles.
Do we have a update on people who have, like, are there update on people who've been lost, an amount of injuries, losses, anything like that?
5, I think 5 dead. That's all I heard.
Okay. That's 5 too many, obviously. That's
Yeah,
sad.
exactly. But I don't think you can even access it.
That's cute. They're saying they
Yeah.
love it. Chat. Pocahontas Smiles. I think that's a new name for us. So welcome to our channel.
Hey, Pocahontas Smiles.
I love
We
that.
love you too.
Hello.
I'm just gonna scroll back. Let's see what people are saying here. What their takeaways are here. Happy has a lot of good information. Let's see. The last report I've seen on Stars and Stripes is that they're sending 10 Navy helicopters equipped with water delivery buckets. Holy. Where are they going to get the water? I heard that they were planning on diverting one of the rivers from where I live.
Wild.
That's something that Trump had suggested, and then nobody listened to him. Again, I got this information from my neighbor. Yeah, Pocahontas Smiles says correct.
That's wild. That is something that I've watched them do that before for fires here. I've watched them dip the bucket for fires here because
they just
lakes
were
and
able to
rivers.
do that recently because of the wind dying down.
Yeah, I don't know where they're pulling the water from though. I don't know what lakes are right by there. There's mountains right there. There's got to be lakes in the mountains right by them. Swimming pools. I don't know. Whatever's.
The Ralphs and the Gelsons have both burned down. The Vaughns on the
Pacific Coast Highway. Pacific Coast Highway.
It's likely gone too, which means a 20-minute drive on a good day to get groceries in Santa Monica.
Oh my gosh,
wow.
That's terrifying. That's like Highway 1, right? That's like the main coastal highway.
Pocahontas Smiles is saying reservoir, probably.
Yeah. That'd be the place. That'd be where they pull water from here too, if they have reservoirs.
Now, why are we hearing that they ran out of water? Like, why did that happen? How can that happen? We get a lot of rain, and wasn't there just a lot of like crazy rain just last year in
I think a lot of their water gets stretched for farming and drinking water, even though their drinking water is atrocious in that part of California. You can't literally drink the tap water. You can't drink it out of this. But I mean, yeah, Pocahontas Smiles is right. There's been a drought there for 30 years.
This forest, this is out of season now.
The fire for sure. Sure. This is wild.
They should have water this time. It's not like they're using it for other fires or anything.
This is the third or fourth fire. The couple fires we heard about before, like the car fire, some of the ones in Northern California were caused by electricity power lines, right? That were getting struck by lightning or something was going on there, or they were malfunctioning. And it turned out that was the issue up north. What have they didn't release anything of the issue down here? They just think it's like tinder fire from the mountains. Was there?
He said it's an investigation, an ongoing investigation. He said.
Oh,
you didn't hear that part? Yeah.
No.
Said,
I thought I was reading chat. No, I missed that.
Yeah, no. He said it was an ongoing investigation.
Yeah, because
they can't get to the point of it because it's still going. So, but he said it is an ongoing investigation. What caused this?
Yeah, your dad was a firefighter. Is that how that's how they work, right? I've only seen some movies about firefighting.
Yeah, well, he was in New York City.
Backwards, right? That's how they work. That's how they figure out what happened. They work it backwards.
Yeah, they just go to where it started and see what they find. It's kind of a incinerance. What's the? I can't think of the word. I can't pronounce it, but.
It's okay. I get what you mean.
Whatever incinerates the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, Happy Faces is saying the firefighting equipment loaded into the cargo compartment of the C-130 can drop up to 3K gallon. Wow, of water in a fire retardant. Well, sorry.
I don't know.
In 6 seconds. Holy! In 6 seconds. Wow, that's crazy.
I didn't know what 3,000 gallons of water is metric wise. You guys don't use gallons there, do you? Actually,
it's like 3,000 milk containers.
Liters. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't know what. Yeah, 3,000 liters. Wow. Close to liters, I guess. That's insanity. I think that's more than that, but I don't do
Now,
math.
something to be worried about, like I know for us, is going to be air quality because, like, the air
Yeah.
quality is so awful.
Oh, yeah. Some of those
Like,
fires earlier this year, huh?
yeah, like this one's. I mean, it's going to be disgusting.
But dropping that water on 15,000 acres is like spitting in a bucket.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And all the like undergrowth or under fire, like all the heat underneath all of that heat is wild too. Like all the damage it's doing underneath the buildings to all the piping and all the things
Yeah.
under the ground is going to be, I mean, they're going to have to tear the whole town up. Is that what's going on?
Devastation. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling you guys that earlier. I got a message. I had a friend who's from Altadena, and like the first thing I thought when I saw that this morning was, oh my gosh, my friend is from there. This is disturbing. I wonder what they think. And so I sent them a message, and he said, I don't think our old family home will survive. A friend and former neighbor said his home, 1 block east, was gone. Another home just 3 houses south was listed as gone too. And we still have friends in the neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah. Heartbreaking, right? That I knew he still had friends there. Just to like, I can't think of it. It's so weird to think about like losing something like a home. That's not like, it's not a person again, like I said, but it's so precious to people.
I'm also reading about the State Farm insurance. Have you guys heard about this?
No, tell us, because I read about it, but not enough.
Yeah,
Tell us more.
yeah. Well, about 4 months ago, State Farm canceled 72,000 home insurance policies throughout California, including all of the policies in the Pacific Palisades, a very wealthy neighborhood in LA. It is not uncommon for insurance companies to take actions like that. However, the close timing to them pulling out shortly before LA's most destructive and costly wildfire ever is suspect. Either State Farm has the best risk management team ever, or they simply were lucky, or they had a heads up, which means the fire was intentional. Didn't mean to go there tonight. I mean, I know we always kind of get into a conspiratorial mindset because things are so crazy these days, but
Yeah,
a lot of people are talking about that.
We all own a tinfoil hat at times, right?
I got a question for Happy. Happy, didn't something similar happen in Carolina with the insurance before that big flood?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that sounds familiar. What about
Maui? What about Maui?
Yeah. What about Maui? That's actually a great question. Wasn't there an issue with insurance in Maui also? What is it? It's insane to me to think like, I have to have homeowners insurance, right? I don't fully own my home. I have to have homeowners insurance. What happens? They say they're not going to cover me. What do I do? What does it not mean? I'm not asking you guys what I'm supposed to do, but you know what I mean? Like, what's a homeowner's going to do if they say no?
This is where we need Luigi to come and shoot that guy and be like, this is where it all ties in together.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Well, hey, I mean, this is why Luigi's such a beloved character at the moment. Is
I
because
actually think that's
kind
what FEMA does. FEMA does that.
FEMA. Yeah. And the Mormon church, they go in
Happy
first.
Faces. I was wondering the exact same thing. Wonder if somebody wants to buy the land. Well, it is beautiful land. And
Oddly, yeah. It happens quite a bit, huh?
A joke.
Or if there's lithium under it.
Darling Bell says, yay, tinfoil hat time. Well, I mean, it would be tinfoil hat if it wasn't so obvious and in our faces. I almost feel like that's just like the next step is looking at who profits. Like you ask yourself, who profits, who had the heads up, and then you just scratch the surface and you get a bit of an answer, right?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, we get an answer of it's still under investigation. How long did we get that answer before something else happens? And it's now we're talking about something else. We are day 8 of the year. We've had we've had a terrorist attack, bombing, and this. a devastating fire.
This isn't fire season. This isn't fire season either.
Right. And so does that mean, Eric, then maybe if it's not fire season in the summer, we have crazy fires every place. We have all these firefighters on call, tons of people on call. Do they go home to other jobs? I mean, I know a lot of these guys have other jobs and do other stuff. Do they go home in the wintertime? Are they not even on call? Are there firefighters to call in to help, or is that not happening?
I think that's like they probably have a crew that's on call or something. I don't know anything about any of that, but I'm just guessing. But I don't know. In that area with the winds, that's an easy place to start a fire this time of year.
Sure.
When you know those winds are going to be like that, it's pretty simple to get one and get it to spread if you want to go tin hat.
Yeah, can you camp right now and have a campfire? It's cold. Do people go camping in those mountains? Is there mountain when it's hot here? I can't have a campfire, but if I went camping right now, which I wouldn't, but if I went camping right now, I could have a fire in the fire pit.
That ground should be moist this kind of year too.
I mean, how did it get out of control in the first place? Where,
the wind.
The wind.
Well, the wind, yes, but I mean, essentially, that's a very populated area, right? So where did it start that there were no first responders on it right away?
Somebody started it and knew the wind was coming.
Wow.
Big wind, not just little wind. Big time wind. You could know was coming.
I know that they said in the press conference that there were no looting that they'd heard of already, but I'm seeing 19 hours ago they're talking about looting. So I don't know why they're saying that there's no looting going on, but I've seen multiple reports on X about looting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
I'm wondering if there's our winds here when we have high winds, we get alerts, right?
Uh-huh.
So do you think somebody could be waiting for a high alert to start a fire? I mean, that's absolutely insane. Okay, Darling Bell, they usually have a burning ban when they have those kinds of winds. Now they're telling people to not even light cigs. Right, sure, yeah.
This could come from higher up. It's a distraction.
How much higher up?
Same people who want to hide the drones and they want to hide what went on in Las Vegas. That higher up.
Yeah.
Well, in Maui,
it's a day later. It's only a day later.
Yeah, in Maui, I remember they were talking about seeing almost laser beams or something like this, right? I mean, it was a conversation that happened. It started, but then it got shut down super quickly. People felt really dumb talking about it, so it just never got investigated. But remember the Maui fires. The Maui fires were super suspect how they started, and there were Oprah's land was virtually untouched. There were children missing. There were a lot of things that sat really weird with people. But, they were saying that they saw lasers and that kind of thing, starting the flames, these very strange kind of beams or something like that. I don't know. I guess, it's under investigation. So we're just throwing everything at the,
I'm talking human beings doing it.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, that's a good possibility. The Maui thing, I guess, is and her land not being touched at all is wild, right? If you're just wind could blow an ash in there and burn a little bit of land, she's probably got hundreds of acres.
Right. She does. No, she's got thousands of acres.
So how do you protect that when it's wind that's picking something up and dropping it wherever it wants to?
Well, how do you ask Oprah about that? Everybody's been trying to ask her. That's been
I got a question.
Trolls. Go for
this area never went on fire before, has it?
I looked. I didn't see anything, but
it hasn't.
Interesting.
I mean, what we've seen so far, when we see fires in California, it's north of there because it's land, because it's farmland area and stuff. But this looks like it's on the map. This looks like it's hills, mountains with housing and stuff like built into it, and then like another valley and like houses in the bottom of the valley, and then a mountain, and then another valley. It looks like mostly the thing would be that it's impossible to get out of the valley.
So let's talk about science a little. Wind, right? Wind will cool the land, right?
Should.
So if someone puts it on fire, and the wind, I mean, the land is burning already, and the wind's just accelerating it. Like, there's constant wind there for like 6 months. So, like, I don't see that land, like, unless somebody helped it out.
Is there always Santa Ana winds, is what you're saying? That's always a happening
No,
there?
from September to March, that's when they are really crazy. Like, they go up and down.
All right.
I read into it when I seen this.
Yeah.
And if that's a perfect place to start a fire, if you wanted to start a fire this time of year with a windstorm that they knew was coming. I'll stop with that, but that's my theory.
Okay, well, so there is also the fact that the LA mayor, Karen Bass, I think that's the one that we saw running away from the questions. She just like completely blanked and just ghosted.
Yeah.
LA mayor Karen Bass had originally proposed $23 million of reduction for the Los Angeles Fire Department for the 2024-2025 budget. But the city council refused and settled at $7.6 million and cut instead.
Wow.
So
where'd that money go when it says cut? What was it? Was it not available to be used anyways, or did it go to something else? Do we know?
They just cut the budget for it. I mean, obviously they don't have like a surplus, so it's just gonna go somewhere else, right? I mean, they just probably pledge a certain amount depending on how many people they have, how much infrastructure they have. She was asked if she regrets cutting the city's funding to $17.5 million and traveling to Ghana while the wildfires burned, and she just kind of sat
is she
there.
in Ghana right now? What do you mean?
That's where she was. She just got back. That's where they found her.
How she got all the way back from Ghana to LA so quickly? That's crazy. But the fact that she was like not there at all, also crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder where the mayor is. Do people like this other area? Looks like when we were watching videos, it looks like it's like neighborhoods, right? I'm just seeing houses.
Oh, and now there's an active fire burning in the city of Santa Monica, 4th Street and Adelaide.
Yeah, that was what we were talking about. That's what Happy in chat said about the Pacific Coast Highway is going to get closed. That's scary.
Keep spreading to like 5 o'clock in the morning, California time, because that's when the winds are supposed to die.
2 hours ago, they were evacuating in Santa Monica.
Oh man, I hope. I've been. You guys ever been there? Santa Monica, the boardwalk, all the stuff's there.
I heard about it.
It's old school, cool California, like where you see on movies, people like rollerblading around and hanging out.
We lived in San Francisco when I was a little kid, but I don't really remember most of it.
It's windy there, but it's not nearly as windy as Southern California.
Right.
Rainy as hell. And it's probably not going to happen in San Francisco because it's always wet. It's always raining.
Yeah, that's what Abbott did during COVID, left the country. Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, really?
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
Is it the same person?
Well, that's what they kind of do is they make like all these ridiculous rules and regulations, then they don't want to live by them, and then they go party in Florida, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of been the vibe for like the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just an outsider. Like I live in Canada, but I see it in Canada too. Like we had all these crazy rules, and then like the people would go down to Florida or wherever they could, go party, and they'd like still do all their regular stuff.
You see how we think this is wild, and Pocahontas Smile says there were 10 fires in California in January of 2022.
Yeah, were they raging out of control?
Were they during a hurricane?
I think at least one of them was raging out of control. I remember. I mean, there's been
during a hurricane.
All that smoke we had last year, and actually, like those fires you guys had last year, in the Northwest had. How was that handled there? Was it not? It wasn't in like.
We are prepared for fire season. Like, I mean, it can get out of control, but like we have a season. It's never in winter time, and it is very specific. Like it'll be in the interior, and then it'll usually come closer to, where people live in areas like Kelowna or Kamloops, or like, but that's still considered interior. But
Uh-huh.
it will never get into our city. Like you won't hear about Vancouver fires or like West Vancouver fires or North Vancouver. Like just doesn't happen. Like there's too many first responders for something like that to like start up and get out of control. Like along the Whistler Highway, like where people would go to Whistler,
Uh-huh.
because we're very similar to California. We have a lot of the same kind of like, we're obviously like along the coast. We've got
Yeah.
a lot of the same winds and that kind of thing, which
Yeah.
is why we're going to get their smoke. But yeah, I mean, it's never going to be in the city. Like that's so unusual. To me, that's unusual. I realize that you guys have that
Well,
happen.
I kind of thought about it last night because we were, or this morning, last night, we were talking about that. Like, is it possible here where I'm at? And I do think it's possible. I live less than a mile, maybe a quarter mile from the base of the foothills. And there's been fires in the foothills, and we have strong winds here, not like Santa Ana winds, every once in a while. It could be possible here. It could happen here. And I'm in a neighborhood where the houses are all, little yards next to each other. It could happen here.
I mean, I think everything's possible. Like I really do think it's possible, but it's
Yeah.
just so unlikely. Like
Yeah. Well, I mean,
this time of year would be so unlikely.
We had our driest summer in years this summer.
This summer, and then you've had this really wet last like few months, or what?
No, it's like probably it didn't. In October was the first time it rained in like 3 months. Yeah.
Oh.
Which is very rare. But I mean,
Yeah.
and things were drying up, and they gave warnings about fires, but there were never any. But there were warnings for the first time I've heard in years.
They give you warnings there to like not water your grass or things like that.
No, they give us warnings like don't. No, don't like throw cigarettes on the ground. Don't don't burn wood. Don't things like that. Don't shoot fireworks.
I'd like to second that. Don't throw cigarettes on the ground. Just in general, would be good.
Like you don't even hear that, but there was big warnings of that once we were like 3 months without rain. Like be careful. Right. Everything's dry.
Well, people who smoke with the window down, and ash is like flying out of the window.
Yeah, that's wild.
Dry like that.
Don't spark your lawnmower and shit.
Yeah,
like
those
that.
are the things that people worry about here. Stuff like that. Don't
That's
drive
where the
under
majority
grass.
of our fires start. Yeah, that's the majority of our fires are people going along the highway, smoking, and then chucking their cigarette out the highway, like into the brush, right?
Yeah.
Like in the interior. That's how it typically starts for us.
Yeah, I think
So
that's a lot.
I have a question. So okay, the houses in Malibu and like the Palisades, they're like worth millions, and these people pay a lot of taxes, right? It's like one of the wealthiest, most like affluent places on like the planet.
Oh yeah, it was by Calabasas was on the list of places to get out of, and that's super wealthy area, right?
So can we expect that they're going to be treated similar to the people like in North Carolina? Those people were treated pretty poorly. Like, do you think we're going to see a difference in how they're treated just because these are people with $1 million homes, or what?
I
What do you
hope
think?
not, but I mean, possibly. You have the affluence of being able to go stay in a really nice hotel in San Diego, or maybe you get to go to Arizona. Maybe you're out. Maybe you go. Maybe you get into Nevada. Maybe you just get out. You have the money just to get out of state. Maybe you don't have
That
to
isn't their only home either. Those people got multiple homes.
That's true.
Or if they are,
might be a write-off. You know what I mean?
Do they go to the gym or wherever the places like Cat? Who was saying that earlier? Dolphin was saying that earlier. Like, where'd they go? They're going to go to churches and all that stuff. That's what I think. Like, if you have money, you're probably, and you lose your home and everything, and like they don't have power, so how are you going to get money anyways? How are you going to use your debit card or any of those things?
Hey, life throws you curveballs.
Yeah, Darling Bell. Yeah, I bet most of them don't actually own their homes. and they may not be paid off. Yeah, true.
Well, they
And
gotta go to the other home, the winter home.
they got to go to the other
So
house they don't own.
whose job is it to make sure the reservoirs are filled up? Because the reservoirs weren't filled up. Yeah, the big insurance companies were moving their fire policies about 4 months ago. You know, like who is responsible for this?
There's agencies probably, like wildlife agency, like places like that.
I
Yeah.
don't know. That's a good question. I'm interested.
Like forestry, like there's probably, I mean, we don't have that around here, but it's like forestry commission, or we could look that up and find out.
It might be BLM. I'm looking it up to see what it says.
BLM.
Well, I mean,
Did
they
you
got to
say
be ready for.
BLM?
Well, you don't
Wildlife
know.
Conservatory.
That's what's called here. I'm not talking about Black Lives Matter. The
Okay.
Forest Service is BLM.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's
no,
a
I'm not.
stretch for them.
I'm not counting on a group of people that are not well congealed. I'm talking about the Bureau of Land Management is what it
The
is.
lumberjack union.
Yeah, the Bureau of Land Management is what BLM is here. So I think that might be who it is, but I'm not sure in California.
Like,
do you guys think
National
this is
Park.
like Maui 2.0 kind of thing? Like, are we going to see a land grab? What's the long-term thing here? Because I mean, it's devastated. I'm looking at the photos. Like, you can't recognize it.
I've seen, well, I've been to some, because when I go mushroom hunting, guys, the mushrooms grow where there were forest fires. So that's pretty common to find mushroom hunters the next year in the area where there was a forest fire. And some of the areas here, it's very weird. Charred earth is how I like to think of it. When I go to areas here, I've driven out to areas, and it honestly looks like a movie. Like it doesn't look real. Everything's white. The trees are all white. There's ash all over the ground's all white. You can touch everything. You come out with soot all over you. You could just touch anything and you'll have soot on it. Like I've picked mushrooms in those areas, and they grow from the ground black. I try to clean them and it doesn't come off. It's like part of a mushroom that would not normally be black will grow out of that ground with all that soot on it. Soot, how do you pronounce that? And it'll come out of the ground and be totally black. It becomes part of the ground. It's really wild.
I'd like to look into this a little more and then make a decision on look into the area more and where it happened, just to see what's going on and what the land is like over there.
Oh, Pocahontas says BLM is federal and they manage land in California. In fact, the governor is going to be in charge of that. The governor's in charge of keeping the reservoirs filled up. That seems like a weird job for the governor of California. Like you'd think that he has a heck of a lot more things to deal with. He's got his own nation going
See
on.
that? Check Discord.
What was that?
Belle put something in Discord. Let me check.
Oh, all right.
Who is responsible?
My state governor is taking care of that. Gotcha. Okay. So in your state, they take care of that. We're not sure about Newsom. If they take care of that, I don't know. I don't know.
So the article that Belle sent us, it's kind of just a who is responsible for administrating water rights laws. In California, water right law is administered by the State Water Resources Control Board, often called the State Water Board.
Oh, no way.
There's like a whole board. So they have a board for it, but they literally didn't do their job. That's even worse, in my opinion. Like, I thought maybe this is one of the jobs, and they just were like, oh, let's just ignore the reservoirs. Who cares? Wait, so they have a whole board and it still didn't get filled up? And that seems like a fumble.
Yeah.
Thank you, darling Belle, for that.
Well, there's never fires here and they don't need it.
But there are fires. I mean, they worry about fires though, right?
I don't think there's a history of fires.
Seasonal.
Here.
It's out of season, I guess.
Yes.
So maybe they were cutting costs. Maybe they were doing something shady.
That's wild, because it's been the last 2 years. It's been wildfire.
I'm just going with my theory.
If you were on the West Coast, the last few summers have been insane for fire year. The smoke in the air has been nuts, right, Ashley?
Oh, it's not been good. I mean, at all. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a mask for before COVID. I had
Well,
masks.
that's what I want to look up this area. I want to see what went on in this area in the last 4 or 5 years. That's what I want to. I don't know. I want to look that up.
I couldn't find anything. I Google
Kalamazoo
searched.
gets mudslides. Like they do get they get weather, right?
Yeah, crazy
Weather
weather.
happens, but they don't get roaring out of control fires, from what I can understand. Why? Because these buildings are old. They're not brand new. It's not like places in Florida where they're constantly rebuilding, right? These are places that have never been burned down. So that kind of gives you your answer right there. Like Paris Hilton
Yeah.
just tweeted out, she's like, heartbroken beyond words, sitting with my family, watching the news and seeing our home in Malibu burn to the ground on live TV, something no one should ever have to experience. This home is where we built so many precious memories. It's where Phoenix took his first steps and where we dreamed of building a lifetime of memories with London. While the loss is overwhelming, I'm holding on to the gratitude that my family is safe. My heart and prayers are going out to those families affected by the fires. Obviously,
Oh,
doing
poor
her
baby. The heiress to
thoughts
Hilton
and prayers.
Hotel's little.
But it goes to show you that you have people who are famous and their homes are,
Yeah,
up
they're
in
not being
flames, right?
saved. They're not being
But if,
saved separately. I was wondering why when I saw them in there, when it first started, when I saw people with their phone cameras standing around, I was wondering why they weren't like digging a line, and I was like, because they can't dig it. Where are they going to dig it? Through the concrete? They just can't dig lines around the houses like they could a lot of places here. They could, how they stop forest fires. They dig huge gullies like around it, so there's nothing to catch fire. But it's not if it's carried by the wind, that's not going to do anything. I didn't know Paris Hilton named her kids after states also. That's pretty funny, cute.
that's a good point. You said her house has been there a long time, so it doesn't happen often.
Right. Yeah, it's not like they've rebuilt it from fires in the past.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that was kind of what I was getting at. Is not that I don't think Paris Hilton has like 50 homes and that she also has like a chain of hotels she could stay at. But I just think that like
I'll give it.
Yeah, this is her home. So yeah, Donald Trump also put out a statement about Gavin Newsom. If you guys are interested.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's really friendly. He's like, my best friend Gavin. You can read it. Go ahead. Let's see what it says.
He said Governor Gavin Newsom refused to sign the water restoration declaration put before him that would have allowed millions of gallons of water from excess rain and snow melt from the north to flow daily into many parts of California, including the areas that are currently burning in virtually apocalyptic ways. He wanted to protect an essentially worthless fish called a smelt by giving it less water. It didn't work, but didn't care about the people of California. Now the ultimate price is being paid. I will demand that the incompetent governor allow beautiful, clean, fresh water to flow into California, in all caps. He is to blame for this. On top of it all, no water for the fire hydrants, no firefighting planes, a true disaster.
Wow.
Why was he protecting smelt?
We gotta eat that. They gotta eat that. That's food.
A useless fish.
But I think they use smelt for a lot of things. Yeah, they use smelt to catch other fish and things like that. They're like,
yeah, I mean, it's not useless,
but
it's
probably used in like dog food products and all sorts of weird stuff. It's because it's such like a easy to propagate fish.
Do you think he's going to step down? Do you think Newsom steps down after this?
No.
Not yet.
Nope, I don't. I don't think I mean, no, I don't. I mean, he's had all these they've had so many things going on in California. I don't think he steps down after this. I think that they need, I don't know why. I know there's state of emergency, all that, but I feel like
There's nothing there yet, though. Like
where
investigate.
where are the things, the groups that go in when they had when Katrina happened, the FEMA and all that stuff really screwed up, right? But the Mormon Church, oddly, was one of the first responders there because they have so many warehouses in every state of supplies. that I'm wondering if they'll
maybe we
be
can
there.
get the Mormon moms out there to help out.
Yeah,
My girls, my swingers.
Your ladies from Utah. Let's
Mhm.
get them down there.
I have to step down. I'm getting paged.
Oh, all right. Well,
Okay.
we should probably end our show for tonight
Oh, we
anyways.
can
Eric.
wrap it
Go
up.
ahead and
I
go.
think, yeah.
Thank you,
we got-
everybody. Appreciate the support. I gotta go. Have a wonderful evening.
Eric's going. When you have a great night, Eric, and
It was
everybody
really
else.
nice having so many friends in the chat. We'll definitely try to, make this time slot a regular slot so that we can, catch up with you guys, because it really is nice to have everybody here.
Yeah, we enjoy seeing you guys. We enjoy hearing from everybody. And yeah, we're gonna end the stream, and it was nice seeing everybody. It really was. We'll be back. Bye.
Bye, guys.